Good morning. So most of you that know me well know that I watch a lot of movies. I mean, it's pretty much one of my preferred forms of entertainment, more so than books and comics and television even. I watch B movies, I watch crappy ones, I watch made for TV movies, as well as your Academy Award nominees type of stuff. Although not as often lately, it seems. But when it comes to films, it is an art form, as any type of entertainment can be. But effective art doesn't just entertain. It challenges you. It changes you. So what I'm going to discuss today are going to be the films that kind of changed me, helped me to grow up, helped define who I am, made me as Todd as I can be. It's difficult to accurately judge one film as being the best of all films out there. Art is very much subjective. You can't really judge it by a certain criteria, and if it checks everything on the list, then it's the best film out there. Just like poetry, you can't judge how good a poem is by its stanza to meter ratio. You judge it by how it makes you feel. And this list, by no means, is a list of the best films out there. It's not even my favorite films of all time. But it's just very much the ones that impacted me the most. So let's take the Wayback Machine and go back to my youth. What made young Todd, Todd? There were definitely a lot of coming-of-age stories that everyone my age certainly had seen growing up. Namely, probably one of the ones that affected a lot of us would be Stand By Me. Beautiful film, great film. That is one of the best films out there, just from my perspective. Even Transformers the movie, again, kind of a coming-of-age story when you look at Rodimus Prime. That's the kind of film that really helped me appreciate fighting for what you believe in, all that kind of mumbo-jumbo. And it's a great film, just if only for the fact that it used Weird Al music for a music montage. But there's one film that really helped me to challenge myself to overcome my expectations and to know that what I believe are the limits of what is to be true or to be possible may not always be the case, and that's Explorers. River Phoenix at his finest, young Ethan Hawke, you can't go wrong. This was the kind of film that helped me realize that anybody is capable of anything, that friendship is one of the most important parts of your life, and the pursuit of science is actually a valid, noble pursuit. It laid down the groundwork of what I now believe and challenge myself with are we just a product of the media, or is the media a product of us? Does art imitate life, life imitate art, kind of thing? And on top of that, it's got aliens. So that pretty much defined how I feel about aliens. Once I kind of grew up and became a teenager and started to understand the world a little bit more, there were a number of movies as well that really did kind of shape how I see the world. Dead Poet Society obviously was a huge influence in my life. Helped me appreciate art, helped me appreciate sucking the marrow out of life kind of stuff. But it did help me to really kind of break out beyond strict rules and tradition, out of habit of having them there, and to seek passion and to hopefully live life fully. Although this film was actually made in the 60s, it did really kind of impact the way I appreciate comedy. But Peter Sellers' The Party, amazing film, awesome film, very much dated, and the type of film it is may not really fly nowadays. And it's really just more of a character study, if anything, just a silly guy doing silly things. But beyond that, there's very much this notion of being true to yourself. And there's one line where Peter Sellers is asked, "Who do you think you are?" And he responds, "Where I come from, we don't think who we are, we know who we are." And that's a good line. That's a classic line. Another powerful movie that I think we all saw growing up, or coming of age, or what have you, but Shawshank Redemption certainly was a great film. It's a beautifully made film that was perfectly acted, perfectly directed, deserves every accolade out there in the film industry. But on top of that, it's just a perfectly powerful story as well. It did really teach me that we are sometimes dealt with great misfortune, despite our intentions. But it did teach me that if you end up in some type of prison, whether it be literal or a prison of the mind or a social prison, that if you maintain your integrity, if you maintain being true to yourself, you can still find hope within, you can still find peace. But another film that I think should be seen a lot more, and there are lines from there that I kind of run through my head every day, was a film called Grand Canyon. Now, it was directed by Lawrence Kasdan, has an all-star cast: Kevin Kline, Mary McDonnell, Steve Martin, Danny Glover. And it kind of has that Robert Altman feel with 5 or 6 different storylines all kind of happening all at once, all very in-depth storylines, and they'll kind of converge. But it's the type of movie that it's pretty much a day in the life type of scenario where certain things happen to certain people. And it really did help me understand that, again, similar to Shawshank, misfortunes happen, bad things happen. Sometimes it's just chance, sometimes it's just luck. And what we take away from it makes us who we are. Our actions in the face of adversity defines us. And with that, we still have no idea what to expect. We don't know if the person I meet tomorrow is going to be the best friend I have for the rest of my life. We never do. And that awareness of the unknown was huge on me growing up. And there's that sense that they really talk about in the film Grand Canyon, where seeing the Grand Canyon itself for the first time, how insignificant it makes you feel. But despite that, we are all significant to each other. It's that kind of storyline that I really appreciated, that was probably important to me as I think a 16-year-old when I first saw it. I still see a lot of movies. I'm still very much the Todd that I have been my entire life now. I can't say movies change me nowadays, but definitely there are a few that have really had great messages that I took to heart. Recently there was, and my brother can attest to this, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Fun film. Ben Stiller's great in it, but it's one of those things where you go out and you experience your adventures. You find the life that you're meant to live. If anything, it reinforced the values that I have today. And recently, one of the more impactful movies as well that have hit me was Emilio Estevez's The Way, starring his father, Martin Sheen. If you haven't seen it yet, it's well worth it. Again, it's not the best film out there, but it's powerful nonetheless. And I thought the way it was presented really did kind of help define family relationships. And seeing it just shortly after my father passed away was hard to take. I think it was meant to see it at that time. So that one really did help. That's pretty much about it. Those are the key ones. Obviously, I have seen thousands of films. Yeah, it might be thousands. I see a lot of crap though, but there are definitely some ones out there that have made me who I am today.